This video is kindly brought to you by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform to create a beautiful online presence. Hi, my name's Janelle and welcome back to Rosery Apparel. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make this dream ruffle dress step by step. If you've been watching my videos for a while, then you'll know I love a good ruffle. And I also wanted to make a new pansy dress, which is my all-time favorite everyday dress sewing pattern. But I wanted to add something just a little bit different. And I saw this dress here on ASOS of all places. An ad popped up on my Instagram, and as soon as I saw this dress, I knew I wanted to recreate the style somehow using my pansy pattern, and I could not be happier with the result. I'm so in love with this dress, so without further ado, let's get into it and let me show you how to make this ruffled dress step by step. So like I said, for this dress, we're going to be pattern hacking my beloved pansy dress sewing pattern, which I'll have a link to in the description of this video if you'd like to pick yourself up a copy. For this dress, we're going to be lengthening the skirt template by 20 centimeters or 8-ish inches. And we're also going to be widening the sleeves by 15 centimeters or 6 inches for extra puffiness. Apart from that, simply cut out the other template pieces from your fabric in your preferred size. First things first, we're going to mark out the darts of the bodice front piece onto the wrong side of the fabric using a water erasable pen or some tailor's chalk. Then simply fold the fabric to match the marks up so that you have a kind of triangle shape. Stitch the folded fabric in place, starting at the top point of the dart and stitching all the way to the bottom point. Do this for all 4 darts of the bodice front piece, and then once stitched, press the darts towards the center of the garment. This helps to give the dress a good amount of shape in the bodice. Next, overlock or zigzag stitch the curved raw edges of all 4 pocket pieces. Yes, of course, this dress has pockets. Next, with the right sides of the fabric facing, place the pockets along the skirt edges, matching the notches together, or approximately 10 centimeters or 4 inches from the top of the skirt if you forgot to cut your notches out like I did. Then stitch the pockets in place like this. Once the pockets are stitched in place, sew 2 rows of gathering stitches along the top edge of the skirt front and the skirt back pieces. I've shared a whole separate video on how to gather up fabric using this method, which I'll have linked in the description below if you'd like a little bit more detail on how to go about this step. Then gently pull on the top threads of the gathering stitches to gather up the top of the skirts until they are approximately the same size as their corresponding bodice pieces. Here is a look at the front, and here is the back. With right sides together, pin the skirts to their bodice pieces. Then stitch them together like this. Once stitched, give the gathers a good press with your iron. And the front of the dress should now look like this, and the back should look like this. Next, from your leftover fabric, cut a long strip that measures approximately 6 meters or 6 yards by 13 centimeters or 5 inches. You are most likely going to need to stitch multiple lengths of fabric together to get a piece this long. This long rectangle is going to become the ruffles of the dress. Start by folding and pressing the long rectangle in half with the wrong sides of the fabric facing together. And then stitch 2 rows of gathering stitches along the top raw edge of the rectangle like this. Next, gently pull on the top gathering threads to gather up the rectangle until it measures approximately 2.5 meters or 2.5 yards. And before we get in and start stitching this ruffle into our dress, let's just take a quick break to talk about the sponsor of this video. This video has been very kindly sponsored by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform to create a beautiful online presence and launch your passion project. Whether you'd like to start making and selling your own products, create a beautiful portfolio to showcase your work, write a blog, or simply create any website of any kind, you can design and create your dream website all by yourself with Squarespace. Squarespace made creating a website easy with so many beautiful templates to choose from, and once you've selected your template, you can then customize the template as much or as little as you like to suit your brand's identity and style. I have been using Squarespace to run the Rosery Apparel website and online store since 2016, and I cannot begin to explain just how validating it is to have your own corner of the internet that is completely your own and that isn't determined by algorithms or overrun with ads competing for your customers' attention. On my website, people are easily able to shop my products, learn about all things Rosery Apparel, and see exactly what my brand is all about. And now Squarespace also offer a new guided design system called Blueprint, which essentially allows you to design a unique online experience for your customers with the help of AI. You simply need to answer 5 questions about your website preferences, and Blueprint will create your dream website for you from the ground up. So if you'd like to create a website of your own, then I totally recommend you check out Squarespace using the link in the description below this video. And then when you're ready to launch your beautiful new website, head to squarespace.com/roseryapparel for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thank you so much, Squarespace, for being such an incredible supporter of my channel and for sponsoring this video. So now we're up to the fun part of adding this ruffle to the dress. Basically, we're actually going to be cutting the dress up to be able to add the ruffles to the dress. I found it easiest to actually drape the dress front onto a dress form mannequin, if you've got one, and then pin the ruffles directly in place onto the dress form. I've opted for a curved organic shape, very similar to the ASOS dress, but you can ultimately add the ruffles however you like. I suggest just experimenting with the positioning of the ruffles until you're happy with how they look, and then use a water erasable pen or some tailor's chalk to mark out the positioning of where the ruffles will go. A tip for this part though is to try and avoid having to cut the bodice darts if possible. Now it's time to take a deep breath and cut the dress along the ruffle position lines. Believe me when I say this part was actually terrifying, but I promise it is all well worth it in the end. So now the top of your dress should be cut and should look like this. Next, cut a piece of the ruffle that fits nicely along this cut curved line. And then with the right sides together, sandwich the ruffle in place between the 2 cut dress pieces. I found using sewing clips instead of just regular pins was better at securing all of these thick layers together. Then stitch the ruffles in place using a seam allowance of about 1/2 centimeter or 1/4 of an inch. We want to make sure we don't lose too much fabric as we stitch these ruffles in place. After stitching, overlock or zigzag stitch the raw edges to prevent them from fraying. Then give the now stitched in ruffle a good press with your iron. And how cute is this dress looking already? Next, repeat this process for the next ruffle. This one is going along the length of the skirt and all the way up to part of the bodice. Once cut, place a length of the ruffle we made earlier along the cut line, and then once again sandwich the ruffle in between the layers of fabric, again stitching it in place with a smaller seam allowance. And now you can breathe a sigh of relief because the front of the dress is now complete. The back of the dress is a lot simpler. We're just going to add a length of the ruffle in a straight line so that it kind of looks like a continuous piece and matches the front ruffles at the sides. Simply cut the back bodice in half and once again sandwich the ruffle in between the layers of fabric. Which once done looks like this. Next, with the right sides together, place the dress front onto the dress back at the shoulders. Because we have lost a little bit of fabric when stitching the ruffle in place, one of the shoulders will be less wide than the others, so simply trim the other shoulders so that they all match nicely. Then stitch the front to the back at the shoulders like this. Next, stitch some matching bias binding along the neck edge of the dress, enclosing all of the raw edges. I go into a lot of detail on how to do this step at about the 5-minute mark of the Pansy video instructions, which I'll have linked in the description below this video if you wanted to give that another watch. Once the binding has been stitched in place, the dress should now look like this. Now it's time to make the sleeves. Start by sewing 2 rows of gathering stitches along the top edge of the sleeve in between the notches like this, which once gathered will look like this. Then with the right sides together, stitch the top edge of the sleeves to the armhole edge of the dress. Once the sleeves have been stitched in place, your dress should now look a little something like this. Next, with right sides together, fold the back of the dress onto the front and match all of the side seams and the pockets together. Also make sure to match the ruffles at the side of the dress as closely as possible. Then stitch the sides of the dress together like this. Next, finish off the sleeves by hemming the raw edge of the sleeves in by about 1 centimeter or half an inch twice. Stitch this hemmed edge in place, leaving a small opening to be able to thread some thin elastic through. Then use a safety pin to thread a length of elastic that fits snugly but still comfortably around your bicep, and thread the elastic into the casing of both sleeves. Stitch the 2 ends of elastic together with a zigzag stitch. And then stitch the opening closed. And your dress is so close to being done. To finish it, just simply hem the entire bottom edge of the skirt. So, how does this finished dress look? So I hope you enjoyed this video and that you're now inspired to have a go at making a dress like this one for your own wardrobe. If you do have a go at this tutorial, then I of course would love to see your finished dresses, so be sure to tag me at Rosery Apparel when you share your photos on your socials. And if you did enjoy this video, it would really mean a lot to me if you could give it a like, and be sure to subscribe to my channel for more sewing tutorials just like this one. Have a lovely day and thanks for watching.